Welcome to Manga Matters. I'm Nadia Hassan together with Charlotte Chong. It is, of course, a public holiday for Selangor, but we love the 100 or 200 or so of you who watch so much that we decided we must actually have a show for you. But of course, it's also a working day for the market. But it's been a very tough week for the market actually. They only had one happy day, and that was on Monday. And then the rest of the week, they didn't manage to have enthusiasm contained.
So we actually struggle a lot to look for happy news for you guys, and we have a lot of bad news to talk about. Now coming back to KLCR actually opened a happy note on Monday. It closed lower on Monday, and it continues to drop again since Tuesday, and thus we have seen 4 days of losses. CI dropped 8.51 points today to close at 1,640.41 points.
It was a mix of everything, right? It was a mix of bad data from China, oil prices that just basically still continue to feel the pressure. OPEC actually essentially saying, you know what,
we are not going to cut.
You know what, suckers, we're not going to cut anymore. So I think it's still going to continue on to next week, and then the week after that is a short trading week. Maybe people are just saying, you know what, screw this, let's go on holiday. But anyway, so moving on.
It's a very quiet day today, especially now.
Well, it's public holiday.
Now you don't hear a lot of voices around here. We're actually at our building, Menara KLK ground floor.
Yeah, exactly, and you don't hear it. But never mind. Moving on to that, we are starting off with what made us really, really upset this week, starting with electricity rebates. So what actually happened was Charlotte went for an event where they actually said that they're going to reduce the level of the rebates that you're going to see. And I think they did this very sneakily because they didn't actually change the tariffs, but essentially the net effect is the same. We're going to pay more. So who's the sucker now?
So a couple of days ago on Monday, I actually went to a press conference held by Dato Sri Maximus Ongkili. He actually said that the government has actually lowered down the rebate to 1.52 cent per kilowatt hour from 2.25 cent per kilowatt hour. But the smartest thing they do is they didn't put 2.25 in the press release itself. So it actually confused a lot of media reporters. A lot of people are asking questions, how much have they lowered? So essentially, we are actually going to pay 0.73 cent more for our electricity bill.
You think that doesn't sound a lot? It's going to add up. It's eventually going to add up. And you know, I've got this really rudimentary, very, very rough way of figuring out about inflation is that how many times do I need to go to the ATM in a week? Because I don't carry a lot of cash, mostly because getting robbed 3 times does that to you. So it seems that my trips to the ATM are getting more frequent. I think with everything that's happening, it's getting harder and harder for Malaysians to save. Don't you feel that?
And the consumer spending power is getting
it's terrible. It's
so much
it's
lesser
in the
now
toilet.
with the implementation of GST and
toll hikes.
Exactly, commodity prices coming down, but we don't see a drop in petrol prices, probably 1 cent here and there, 10 cents. So actually, the spending power is getting lesser and lesser.
And the interesting part about that was TNB actually suspended its stock for that day. It had a little issue with IRB, maybe that was why they suspended it, but we didn't actually see why, because the effect on TNB was actually neutral.
But it actually went down slightly today, 0.61%.
Very little.
Pretty
it wasn't
flat.
big. Yeah, exactly. So the effect is neutral. So I always wonder, do you think companies use the word suspension on the stock for the right way? Because you see some of them suspending for 2 hours for what?
Actually, I don't understand. I really don't understand why they suspend the stock at all. Because in the PC itself, we actually asked the question like, will these actually affect TNB stocks at all? And Dato Sri Maximus Ongkili saying no. So we wonder why actually Tenaga Nasional Berhad issued a suspension announcement.
Going further afield, of course, for our bigger picture on why things made us unhappy this week, Donald Trump, the best words in the English language that if you look up in a dictionary is next to jack and ass. So the fact is, he actually graduated from being a circus sideshow to becoming an utter and complete twit. He wanted to ban Muslims from the States. It was swiftly condemned, not just by the Democrats, which are opposite, but also his own party. I mean, what do you think about this?
I think it's probably the joke of a century that he is actually running for president next year in the US. So do you think he actually stands a chance to lead?
I think they're idiots in America, so which will vote for him, because you see, this is what's the problem with this kind of racist rhetoric. It puts ideas into the heads of every redneck and paranoid conspiracy theorist out there that, hey, why not? Isn't this the right idea? You'd be amazed, because people are just so scared that they think banning those people, as they put it, will actually help. And I think he's just turned from a circus sideshow to being a hate monger.
But I think we cannot deny the fact that he is a very influential figure
He's
in
an
terms
idiot.
of media
He's
reporting.
an idiot with bad hair.
So yeah, but the thing is, right? He said that some part of London are so radical that police won't even go there.
It's a lie, by the way.
Yeah.
Mayor Boris Johnson has actually said that he wouldn't go to parts of New York mostly because he doesn't want to meet Donald Trump.
Then the thing is, he was actually voted among the least. The Time magazine considered, the people of the year that they have been voting.
Yes, because we'll talk about that in a minute. But the funny thing about that is also I think that if he ever does become president, touch wood or whatever, he will undo all the good work that President Obama has done reaching out to Asian countries,
Exactly.
predominantly Muslim, what do you call it, in certain parts, Indonesia and Malaysia. It's tough.
I know President Obama has been trying hard to shake hands with the Muslim community in Middle East. They have been getting all their troops back to the US and not influence so much in the Middle East.
And you come around this moron. But anyways, regardless of that, moving on to one thing that made us happy this week was that Angela Merkel, one of my 3 favorite women in the world, 4 favorite women if you include my mother, actually became Times Person of the Year. Just a note, right, when actually she became Times Person of the Year, Donald Trump, like a slow loser, said, you know what, I knew I wasn't going to get picked. He sounds very sour grape, but I know I wouldn't get picked. But they picked somebody who's ruining Germany. I'm like, what a... Anyway, so yeah, it's tough. And
So
then
when you actually mentioned about Angela Merkel, it reminds me of a figure like Tan Sri Zati.
Yes. I think it's
Negara.
great that we have such strong figures for women who aren't insane feminists. I think it's great that they have these people to look up to, as opposed to Kim Kardashian, who has no talent and made a sex tape and is married to somebody who we think is probably gay.
So a few issues that she has been doing. She has been doing a lot of good deeds this year.
Yes.
And of course, she has actually come out together with President in France. She actually signed a contract, not a contract, probably a friendly agreement with Russian president to stop having war in that region.
Hey, not only that, do not forget that when Greece was going through its meltdown, she was the one overseeing all of it, because as the Chancellor of Germany, you're almost the de facto leader of the European Union. And for her to keep that facade and just to power through it and make so many decisions, it's not an easy thing for them.
And one more thing I liked about her, she has a big heart on refugees. She has pledged to take 1 million asylum seekers by the end of December. I wish our government could be
Exactly,
like
I
that.
wish
To
it too.
Rohingya, the boatman.
Exactly. I'm happy about to end on that note for today. Just to remind you, this is Market Matters. I'm Nadia Hassan together with Charlotte Chong. For more on some of the news, of course, the Edge Markets is there for you. Tomorrow is a brand new copy of the Edge Weekly and of course the Financial Daily. Have a good weekend, guys.